Legends whisper through every culture. Stories of creatures too strange, too powerful, or too terrifying to be real. But what if some of them were? From the darkest oceans to the frozen mountains, myth and science sometimes overlap in unexpected ways. Welcome to Wendigo Whisper, where we explore the myths that might just be more than imagination. In this episode, we descend even deeper into waters where sunlight never reaches. 8 more mythical sea creatures that really existed, Part 3. Let us begin. 1. The akugyo, the man-eating whale of Japan. Fishermen along the coasts of Japan once spoke of the akugyo, a colossal red creature shaped like a whale, but far more aggressive. It was said to overturn ships with a single movement, dragging entire crews beneath the waves. Legends describe glowing eyes, massive fins, and a roar that traveled for miles across the water. Modern scholars believe these stories may originate from misidentified giant rays, rare red-colored deep-sea fish, or encounters with exceptionally large whale sharks. Logical possibilities. But in 1805, a merchant ship reported being struck by something so large it lifted the hull clear out of the water before vanishing. The crew insisted it was not a whale. It was too fast, too broad, and its skin was a color no known animal possessed. Records show that several vessels disappeared along the same route that year. If you are enjoying this descent into the forgotten corners of the ocean, make sure to subscribe. There are still countless mysteries waiting below. 2. The adaro, the spear throwers of the Solomon Seas. In the Solomon Islands, people speak of the adaro, half-human and half-fish beings that rise from the sea with a purpose no one wishes to understand. The stories describe faces marked by gills that open and close like breathing wounds, and arms tipped with narrow fins that shimmer unnaturally in the light. They are said to travel on waterspouts during violent storms, riding the spinning columns of wind and water as if the chaos itself were carrying them toward their prey. Researchers suggest the adaro legend grew from encounters with aggressive barracudas, unusual weather patterns, or hallucinations caused by dehydration at sea. Yet official logs from the early 20th century include reports from local officers describing spear-shaped objects found embedded in damaged boats, even though no other vessel was near them. Fishermen still refuse to travel alone on days when the water feels unnaturally still, claiming that this eerie calm often comes just before the storms that carry the adaro across the sea. 3. The aspidochelone, the island that breathes. Medieval sailors feared a creature so large they mistook it for land. The aspidochelone was described as a massive turtle or whale floating motionless on the surface. Sailors would anchor on its back, light fires and prepare food. Then the ground beneath them would shudder, tilt, and plunge into the sea. Scientists connect this legend to volcanic seamounts, surfacing whales, or giant mass illusions created by fog. But the 13th century navigator Gervase of Tilbury recorded a first-hand account of an island-sized creature that dove when disturbed. His description matches multiple stories across unrelated cultures. A creature mistaken for land is unlikely, unless something truly enormous once moved near the surface. 4. The abaia, the guardian serpent of the deep lakes. In Melanesian myth, the abaia was an immense serpent that lived at the bottom of large lakes and lagoons. It was said to protect the waters from human greed. Anyone who tried to disturb the lake by taking more than they should would trigger its rage. Storms would rise, waves would crash, entire villages could be swept away. Natural explanations include sudden storms, underwater tremors, or aggressive eels that grow unusually large in isolated habitats. But several villages in Vanuatu recorded events where calm waters suddenly erupted in violent whirlpools with no weather system to explain them. Survivors described seeing something dark and immense moving just beneath the churning surface, circling with purpose. 5. The Sea Bishop, the creature that requested an audience. In the 16th century, sailors on the Baltic Sea reported capturing something unsettling. It looked almost like a man dressed in the flowing robes of a bishop, yet its skin was slick with scales, and its limbs ended in thin, quivering fins. The face, they said, seemed aware of them, too aware. They called the creature the Sea Bishop, though none of them could agree whether the title was a warning or a desperate attempt to make sense of what they had pulled from the water. Historians think it may have been a monkfish or a malformed marine animal, yet these explanations fail to account for one detail. Multiple accounts say the creature gestured towards a church, was released, then bowed before disappearing underwater. This story appears in several independent manuscripts from different countries. If it were a monkfish, why did so many people describe the same human-like movements? Witnesses believed the creature was attempting to communicate due to its gestures that seemed purposeful and focused. 6. The Sea Eater, the creature that consumed coastlines. Some indigenous Australian communities speak of a terrifying being known as the Sea Eater, a creature believed to swallow not only people, but entire stretches of shore. It was said to rise during violent storms, its mouth wide enough to engulf trees, rocks, and the earth itself. Researchers believe these stories may describe ancient tsunami events, sudden coastal collapses, or whirlpools formed by underwater landslides. But satellite data from the early 2000s recorded a massive water displacement off the coast of northern Australia that has never been fully explained. No tectonic activity, no storm, just a sudden void in the sea, followed by a wall of water rising as though something enormous had moved. Locals still warn children not to linger near certain coves, claiming the Sea Eater still drifts beneath the sand. 7. The basilosaurus, the ancient predator that devoured the seas. Long before humans found names for sea serpents, the oceans held a creature that looked exactly like the monsters we would later fear. The basilosaurus was not a dinosaur and not truly a whale, but something caught between eras. A predator shaped like a serpent, yet armed with jaws strong enough to crush bone. Stretching more than 15 meters, its body moved with an eerie, snake-like motion that left ancient waters rippling in spirals behind it. Scientists believe it hunted with precision, using its long, narrow skull to strike prey before they even sensed danger. But scattered fossils show something stranger. Some skeletons bear marks that suggest multiple basilosaurs gathered to feed, circling carcasses in coordinated spirals like a ritual older than language. A real creature, a real leviathan, and one more reminder that the ocean has always been home to things far stranger than myth. 8. The ningen, the pale giant of Antarctic waters. Modern legends speak of the ningen, a vast, pale shape that drifts through Antarctic waters like a ghost without a home. Japanese research vessels have reported glimpses of it in the dead of night, when the sea is so quiet that even the ice seems to hold its breath. Descriptions rarely match. Some claim it resembles a monstrous white whale with limbs far too human to be natural. Others insist it looks more like a figure gliding beneath the ice, its outlines stretched and distorted. Skeptics claim these are misidentified icebergs or large manta rays distorted by darkness. But one photograph, taken in the early 2000s and quickly removed from public access, showed a smooth, white shape with what appeared to be a face. Officials dismissed it as ice, yet crew members from the expedition anonymously insisted it was alive. They said it moved silently beneath their ship, following them for hours, and no confirmed photograph of it has surfaced again. The sea is a witness older than humanity. It has seen creatures rise and fall, shapes the world has forgotten, and beings that hover between myth and reality. Maybe some were exaggerations, maybe some were warnings, and maybe a few are still out there, drifting in the dark beneath the waves. If you want to continue the journey, Watch parts 1 and 2 of this series next. And remember to like, subscribe, and never underestimate what waits beneath the surface.